Rain hammered against the windshield as Daniel gripped the steering wheel, squinting through the blur of headlights and fog. His 7-year-old son, Leo, was asleep in the back seat, clutching his favorite stuffed bear. They were just 10 minutes from home when Daniel saw her, a lone figure standing by the roadside, soaked, shivering, waving for help. He hesitated for a moment. It was late, close to midnight, and the storm was unforgiving. But something about the desperation in her eyes made him pull over. That one decision would change everything. He rolled down the window a crack. "Hey! You okay?" he called out. The woman's voice trembled through the rain. "My car died. I don't know what to do." She looked maybe in her late 20s, her hair plastered to her face, mascara streaked down her cheeks. Daniel could tell she'd been crying long before the rain began. Without hesitation, he opened the door and stepped out into the storm. The water soaked through his jacket instantly, but he managed to push her small car off the road and get her inside his truck to stay warm. She was grateful, quiet, and a little distant. "Thank you," she whispered, her hands trembling around the cup of coffee he offered from his thermos. "No problem," he said, glancing at Leo in the back seat. "We'll drop you somewhere safe. There's a diner open all night a few miles ahead." She nodded, her eyes softening when she saw the boy sleeping peacefully. "He's adorable," she said. "You're a single dad?" Daniel smiled faintly, the tiredness in his face betraying the years of struggle. "Yeah. Been that way for a while." By the time they reached the diner, the rain had calmed, and she thanked him again, more sincerely this time. "You didn't have to stop," she said, brushing a strand of wet hair behind her ear. "Most people wouldn't." He shrugged. "Everyone deserves help once in a while." She hesitated as she stepped out. "I'm Ava," she said softly. "I'll find a way to thank you someday." Daniel chuckled and waved it off. "Just pay it forward." And with that, he drove away, not realizing that fate had already begun weaving their lives together. 2 weeks later, Daniel was standing nervously in the lobby of the tall glass building where he had just been hired as a maintenance supervisor. After years of working odd jobs, this position was his chance at stability, steady pay, benefits, and the possibility of saving for Leo's future. He'd spent the night before ironing his only decent shirt, rehearsing how he'd introduce himself to his new boss, Mr. Miller. The receptionist smiled. "The CEO wants to meet all department leads this morning. You'll be in the conference room on the top floor." He nodded, grateful but anxious. The elevator ride felt like forever. He stepped out into a gleaming corridor lined with polished marble and glass, a world far removed from the one he knew. Inside the conference room, executives sat around a long table. Then the door opened, and his breath caught. It was her. Ava, the woman from the storm, walked in, poised, elegant, and confident, dressed in a sharp white suit. Her hair was sleek and dry now, her presence commanding. The same eyes that had once looked lost in the rain now carried authority and grace. For a second, she froze too. Recognition flickered across her face, surprise, then something warmer. "Good morning," she said to the room, her professional tone unwavering. "I'm Ava Reynolds, CEO of this company." Her gaze lingered on Daniel, just a fraction longer than the others. "Let's begin." Daniel sat through the meeting in a daze, trying to focus while his mind raced. What were the odds? The woman he'd helped in the middle of nowhere now owned the company he worked for. After the meeting, she approached him quietly. "Can we talk?" He nodded, following her into her office. The silence was heavy until she smiled softly. "I can't believe it's you," she said. "You helped me that night. You didn't even know my name." Daniel chuckled nervously. "Yeah, small world, huh?" "Very small," she said, then paused. "I never forgot your kindness. That night, I was driving back from a funeral. I'd lost someone very important. You stopping for me, it reminded me there are still good people left." He swallowed, unsure what to say. "I'm glad you made it home safe." She smiled. "Now it's my turn to help you." Daniel frowned slightly. "You don't have to." "I want to," she interrupted gently. "You gave me hope when I didn't have any. Let me give you a chance to grow here. Not because I owe you, but because people like you deserve it." Over the following months, Daniel worked harder than ever. He rose quickly through the ranks, his dedication and integrity impossible to ignore. Ava often stopped by to check on him and Leo, who had quickly become her little buddy during office visits. Slowly, a friendship bloomed between her and Daniel, one built not on obligation, but respect and quiet understanding, yet behind Ava's calm smile was a loneliness that even success couldn't hide. Daniel saw it in the way she lingered when Leo laughed, or when she talked about her parents who had passed away, leaving her the company far too young. One evening, after everyone had left, Ava found Daniel fixing a broken light in the hallway. She leaned against the wall and watched him. "You're always fixing things," she said softly. "Even when they aren't yours to fix." He laughed quietly. "Guess it's a habit. Life breaks things. Someone's gotta put them back together." Ava's eyes glistened. "That night on the road, I thought my life was falling apart. And you just showed up. No questions, no judgment." Daniel looked up at her, the light casting a soft glow on her face. "Sometimes, we find people when we need them most." She stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Maybe we were both meant to stop that night." Silence lingered between them, not awkward, but full of unspoken connection. Months later, the company held a celebration for record profits, thanks to a new initiative Daniel had helped lead. Ava took the stage to speak, her voice steady but emotional. "Success," she said, "isn't built by numbers or titles. It's built by people who believe in helping others even when no one's watching. Tonight, I want to thank someone who reminded me of that truth." Her eyes found Daniel in the crowd. Sometimes, a simple act of kindness can change two lives, not just one. The audience applauded, unaware of the deeper meaning behind her words. After the event, Daniel stood with Leo outside the hall. Ava approached, smiling warmly. "So, Mr. Miller," she teased, "how does it feel to be the man everyone's talking about?" He smiled back. "Feels good, but I'd rather just be the guy fixing the lights." She laughed softly, her gaze full of affection.